Those of you that are feeling the emotional weight of what's happening in California, we are going to collectively send our prayers and send our love, and we are going to collectively inspire, motivate, serve, and love to be able to lift people up. Dear God, as I come in gratitude today, I want to say thank you for all we get to experience in this lifetime. As we approach a new layer of life, contrast, and change in Los Angeles County, the state of California, and those affected by the wildfires and extreme winds. Give us faith, overwhelming protection, safety, and security in this chaotic time. Allow us all to be in a state of humbleness for divine connection to our higher selves. Give us access to our spiritual currency to lighten our physical reality. Keep people in the state of gratitude, not fear, knowing that something greater is on the other side. Allow this to pass through and be a wake-up call to the truth consciousness and what's needed in these moments. For all who've lost things in this fire, allow them to be restored tenfold when the time permits. Give us more grace, compassion, unconditional love, and support in these challenging times. Show us the way and give us the insight we need, as we know this too shall pass. So it is. Thank you for keeping us safe and grounded as we all touch and agree. Amen. This is exactly 5 years ago that I launched my business. 5 years ago that I set the wheels in motion towards a different life for myself. 5 years ago, I actually was getting ready to go to a trip to LA to go to see Bob Proctor at Paradigm Shift and embark on what would become one of the most thrilling, exciting, powerful, scary, contrasting journeys that I have been on, but I have to tell you that it was the best decision that I ever made. What was so interesting as well was 5 years ago, late December, a dear friend of mine, Penny Macri, sent me some videos, and I posted them in my stories, so you may have seen them, of us in the tail end of 2019 getting together in Mississauga, Ontario, Canada, and doing a vision boarding exercise together. And I had just started studying this material. I had been in Bob's program for a couple of months, and I was on fire. And I remember it was so interesting because I was creating this vision board, and I was surrounded by a lot of other women that were in my network marketing business with me, and everybody was excited. We were vision casting, we were creating our vision boards, and I looked at my vision board and it was different from everybody else's. And that was the first realization that I had that, wow, I am really thinking differently here. I am really thinking bigger and outside the box, and it was like something had unlocked in me. And I remember I put 2 million. It's all destroyed because it's been 5 years and it was in a closet for 5 years, but this is the vision board that I made. So this was the tail end of 2019. And right here on the bottom, it says $2 million. There was nothing in my reality to tell me that that was going to happen. The most I'd ever made in my life was $100,000 in a year, and I put 2 million on this thing. And I remember people thinking I'm a little crazy. What is she doing? But everything in this entire board, you will be the first multimillionaire in your family, it says up there. I manifest abundance by being grateful for what I have. You know, all of this stuff. I became more forgiving of my body. Wow, did I ever manifest that one? Anyway, so this is the vision board that I made at the tail end of 2019. And all of this came true and more within the first year. It's just so interesting. And when I look at those videos too that Penny shared with me, you can see the difference in who I am in the video. It's incredible to watch, actually. And it's not just the way in which I look, it's the way in which I hold myself, the way in which I speak. It's the light behind my eyes. It is quite literally everything. And I share this because, and I look at, you know, casting a vision and creating a vision. I don't want to sit here and show you all how to build a vision board. You can all do that. That's like arts and crafts, that's dreaming, that's putting together what you want on a board. Fantastic. So many people do that and it never comes into the physical world, it never happens. So, what I want to do here and what I want to talk about over the next 2 days is what did I do next? What was it that after that board was created, that all of those things were put there? What did I do? How did I think? How did I show up? What were the steps that I took? I'm not going to tell you step one, I did this, step two, I did that, in terms of the actions, because each of your journeys is individual, as was mine. I didn't follow somebody's step-by-step path. But what I am going to show you exactly how I showed up, how I thought, what are some of the key things that I did to be able to do that. And so 5 years later, after creating this vision board, I have built an 8-figure business, a company, directly from nothing. I built this. 8 figures, you know what that means? That's not just multi-millions. We are long past 35 million in revenue over the past 5 years. Not only that, but now I'm investing into companies. I own several companies, and I also am part owner and founder in others, and ones that are 10xing their investments at lightning speed. And so there is so much that I can say about manifestation in this work. But what I want to tell you is that if you want it, you can have it. Bob used to say this to me all the time. Tell me what you want and I will help you to get it. And at that time, I don't know that I fully believed him because I didn't fully believe in me. But now I get it. And now I sit here today and I'm like, no, please listen, pay attention. Please dream bigger, ask for more, and follow the steps that I give you. Because time and time again, I see people starting to live their dreams out loud, to love life, to be happier, more joyful, to believe in themselves, love themselves, to go after it, and to be bold and daring and courageous and to have it all. And if you think you have time, I just want to remind you that you do not have time, okay? You do not. Time is an illusion. The only thing that exists is the present moment. And if you take your time, if you put it off, if you delay, if you procrastinate, if you say tomorrow, what you are in fact doing is choosing not to have your dream. You are choosing not to have it. Every moment you do not take action towards it, you are pushing it away quite literally. My dream was to own a beachfront property in Malibu. That has been my dream for years, and I'm not letting that dream go, no matter what the outside world tells me. And so on that path towards having my own property, beachfront in Malibu, I got there as much as I could. I went there for a week at a time. I would go there for 2 weeks at a time. I spent as much time there as I possibly could because that was my dream. Even if I didn't have my own home that I had purchased and lived in yet, I chose to live my dream and get as close to it as I possibly can. And so today, looking at the footage, looking at the videos of everything completely burnt to the ground, what is my first thought? Thank God I didn't wait to go there. Thank God I didn't wait to experience that. Thank God I didn't put it off. Thank God I went for it. And so there is no time. It is just right now. And so I want all of you to please be in the present moment, to make an instant decision that you are effective immediately going to dream big, that you are effective immediately going to decide what it is that you want, and that you are going to boldly, courageously, and daringly go for it every single day in every single moment. That would be my message for you today about this, looking back on life and everything that has happened and occurred and where we're sitting at. It is so important for you to make a decision to do it. So I don't want to talk about how to make a vision board. I am speaking to you today under the assumption that every single one of you have one done already. If you don't, well, go do it today. But I want you to have your vision board ready to go. I want that thing to be visible. I want you to be able to see it. I want you to know exactly what you want. If you don't have it on a board and you have it written out, fine, amazing. If you have it in a movie form, great, amazing. It doesn't matter. But what I want you to know is, what do you want? What is it that you want in your life? If the answer is, I don't know, that is your ego. You do know. And what if you did know? right? So if you had a magic wand, if you could have anything and all things, if everything was possible, what would you love? That's all I'm asking you to do. What would you love? If your relationships could get better, how would you want them? If you could have more money in your bank account, how much would you want? If you could live anywhere in the world, where would you live? If you could have a career or a business doing anything, what would that be? If you could donate to any charity, which one would it be and how much would you donate? This is what I'm talking about, right? Is all the ways in which you would like your life to elevate. And we do this from a place of love and gratitude for your life today. So I love my life, but I am open to it getting better. I'm open to it growing and expanding. So what I'm going to do over the next 2 days is I'm going to share with you key components. When I sit back and I look back at the past 5 years, what do I do consistently? What makes me different? What is those things that no matter what are my must-dos, must-haves, must-experiences that I am not going to waver on? I sat down and I let it flow through me, the things that I consistently do. I probably could have wrote a list of like 30 things, but I wanted to make it really, really crisp and concise. So hopefully by the end of this, what you could do is you could have the things written out on a list, put it next to your computer, next to your bed, next to your vision board to say, this is what I'm going to do to allow this to come in. Manifestation is experiencing something that you have not experienced before. Conscious and intentional manifestation. So when you learn the art of manifestation, you don't learn it so that you can just keep redoing the same, do you? You don't want to know how to manifest so that you can just have the same job, the same car, the same career, same relationship, same money. You want more. And so conscious manifestation then is deciding what that more is and then transmuting the energy. So mental transmutation is the act of thought into physical thing. It is quantum physics, it is real, and it is true. Every single thing that we are experiencing in our life and in our world started in one place. It started in the imagination. All manifestations, physical human manifestations, started in one place. Mental transmutation. Thoughts are energy. Ideas are energy. They have a vibration and they impact you. And they impact the outside world. They get sent out. And they literally change the fabric of your 3D physical world. So when you start operating from the assumption that your vision board is real and true, you start sending out a different vibration. And it impacts the physical 3D world. I always say the universe aligns. The bridge of incidents unfolds. But it's not from the simple act of dreaming, right? There is more to it. Because we must take the vision, the dream, from the fourth dimension, and we must bring it into the physical 3D world, right? So futile daydreaming is to dream, to keep it as a dream, believe that it's only a dream, and then never actually act upon it because you don't think it's true and real and it'll never happen anyway. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the dream in the fourth dimension in the imagination space, and we're going to bring it into the physical 3D world through who we are being, through the vibration that we are in, the powers of attraction and manifestation. And then we are going to act and show up in a way that allows us to receive that beautiful manifestation into our physical 3D world. I want to give you concise things to go and do. And then your homework, your job is to just do them. To ask yourself, how can I be this today? How can I do this today? I want to get into something very, very important. The first thing that I want every single one of you to understand, to be aware of, and to move the energy for is when you look at your vision, you look at that vision board, the grandest version of yourself, the greatest life you could ever possibly experience, all of those things that just light your soul on fire. I want you to look at it with hope, okay? And then I want you to move from hope into faith, and then I want you to move from faith into knowing. I don't normally talk about hope, because I don't hope that anything will happen. I don't wish for more. I don't try. I do. I know. I be. But with everything that is going on in the world right now and the circumstances around life, there are many people in many places that are literally starting from nothing, that are literally in devastation, that are rebuilding. And the only thing that you could cling to is hope. And so that's why I'm saying hope first. Okay. So when I was at my lowest in 2019 when I was, I would say for me, that was probably my most depressed state, meaning vibrationally, thoughts, the way in which I felt about myself, etc., etc., etc. So what I actually clung to was the hope that there could potentially be more. The hope that there could be more. And so right now, if it feels like there's not a lot for you to cling to, I want you to cling to the idea of hope. I want you to grab whatever little bit of hope that you do have, find it. I also see it as like this little bit of light. Sometimes when we're sitting in the darkness, we're surrounded by nothing but dark. But when we do find that little crack of light, the more we watch the light, we pay attention to the light, the more the light grows. So I want you to all start off with hope. And then once that hope feeling, you've clung on to that and you've grown that, I want you to move into faith. I want you to move into faith, okay? You have to have faith in this vision, on this vision board. We cannot look at it and go, oh, yeah, I'll never have it. And notice, it's not like you're saying that, but I want you to notice what you're noticing about your thoughts when you look at it. Notice what you think about that, you know? Notice what the underlying feeling is. Do you look at that vision board and think to yourself, I can't wait till I experience that? Or are you looking at that vision board and going, oh, I wish, maybe one day. Feel the difference between those two ways of feeling about it. So hope is that like a maybe, it's possible, maybe I can have it. But faith actually moves you into, you know what? I have faith that this is done. I have faith that this is possible. I have faith that it will eventually be mine, something like that. Faith is very, very powerful, and faith is actually so meaningful to me. I actually had it tattooed on my arm because it was for many, many years in this work where I would go to in the moments where the outside world would appear that things were not going to work out for me. Many people have faith and believe that they're in a state of faith when in actuality, they're just in the observation of good. Faith is actually something that is most meaningful, most important, most present in the moments when you can't see the observation. So when the outside world is telling you that things are not there, they are not done, it's not possible, it's looking bad, maybe the opposite is showing up, that's true faith. So the ability to look at it and to say, you know what? No, I'm not going to believe this. The world might be saying that this isn't possible, but I know different. I know otherwise. That is faith in action. That is when faith is needed. The law of rhythm says that we live in a rhythm of life. There is ups and there is downs. There is valleys and there is troughs. There is snow that I'm living in right now, and there is fire that is in my second home in California. There is going to be ups and downs always. When is faith most important? In the perceived downs. When everything outside of you is going well, faith isn't going to be as needed in those moments. So it's actually in the moments where it appears that it's not going well that faith will come into play for you. Robert Russell says that success, in its simplest terms, is faith expressed in action. Faith expressed in action. If you don't have faith, are you going to take action? No way. So this is where the vision boards get created. They get put into closets. They never get seen again, and nothing ever comes of them because action is not being taken because you are not in a state of faith. But my recent awareness and most beautiful realization is that faith alone isn't necessarily enough. And faith alone isn't the highest level of feeling. That knowing surpasses faith. So think about it this way. If I'm looking at my vision board for 2025, okay, and I'm telling you how I really feel about it. I look at my vision board for 2025 and I know it is done without a shadow of a doubt. I look at that and I go, oh man, I can't wait. I am so excited for this. My soul is on fire because I have convinced myself that I am so powerful that whatever I ask for on this vision board or this grocery list will be delivered to me. I know this to be true. So as I know this to be true, what do I no longer believe? No, what do I no longer say? I have faith that it will happen. Feel the difference? So faith is important. Faith is powerful. Faith is strong, but it's actually in my knowing that the most amount of power that I have fully comes out. In my knowing. And in my knowing, when the law of rhythm shows up and the bumps show up and the troughs show up, does it impact me? No. Because I'm so strong in my knowing of what is on its way, nothing can shake me, nothing can throw me off course, nothing can derail me, nothing can take me off this path, right? Because I know. The faith is not wrong, it is not bad, it is beautiful. But I want you to take that faith energy, the I have faith that everything is working out. I have faith in a higher power. I have faith that my vision board will come into fruition. And I want you to move into a knowing. The knowing. To know something fully. You cannot be convinced otherwise. Do you think anybody could come to me tomorrow and be like, Kathleen Cameron, manifestation is not real. It is not true. You're crazy. You've lost it. Do you think anybody could impact me? Do you think I would be like, oh, really? Am I? Maybe. No. I am so convinced of this work. I am so convinced of what I teach. I am so convinced of me and my abilities and my powers. And let me tell you, the ways in which I know this to be true is creating the life that I live today. The certainty that I have is making everything else in this world certain right back to me. I had my team post yesterday. We talked about certainty. They all went and did a beautiful post about certainty and what it meant to them and what they're certain of and what they're certain in. You are certain of something. It's either that you are going to have it or that you're not. One or the other. So which level of certainty and knowing do you desire to have? That's the key here. So I want you to start off with hope. If that's what you've got to cling to right now, somebody said they're having a really, really hard time right now, I want you to grasp hope. I want you to take this, my story, and I want you to have hope that there is something better for you, that there is something greater on the way, that you have power, that you have ability, that you will work through whatever it is that you're working through in this moment, that this too shall pass. Then I want you to work on faith. Faith that there is something greater than you, that there is something outside of you, that there is a force that is responding to who you are and who you are being, that is assisting you, that you are not alone, that there is a higher power. And then I want you to have faith in yourself, faith in your abilities, faith in who you are and what you can do and your ability to manifest. And then to have faith in the world, that it is inherently good, that people are inherently good, that the world is actually a beautiful place. The more of the world's beauty you see, the more of the beauty will be revealed, even in the darkest times and in the darkest moments. It's really beautiful. And then I want you to move into a knowing. So I want you to move into this knowing that you are it. You are the one. You are one with the divine, the creator of all things. And that everything and anything that you desire is already done, it is already here, and you are already it. And allow yourself to be open to receive all the beautiful abundance, love, joy, and peace that is circulating all around us in this beautiful world. So that is the first thing that I want you to focus upon is the ways in which you see that vision board and the ways in which you choose to exist related to it in your beliefs and in your faith. The second thing, and this is the jumping off point of all manifestations, is to have the desire. You must be in love with this vision on the vision board. Okay? This is where it's going to get uncomfortable for you. We've been taught not to get our hopes up. How many times have we been like, oh, I don't want to get my hopes up. I don't want to want it too much. Because if I want it really bad, then I don't get it, then, my ego is going to be bruised. I'm going to be upset. I'm going to feel like a failure, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Right? So I want you to be in this place where you are emotionally involved with the idea. The idea is of an elevated lifestyle. The idea is of greater impact in this world. The elevated idea is that you love yourself more, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. When we're writing it down, do we say I will or I am? Okay. I will be is a confession that I am not. So notice the language. So if you're saying, I will be a millionaire one day, what are you saying? I'm not one right now. So you won't hear me say, I say KCB. B is for billionaire. I just added a B to my initials because it's fun, because I would love that. Why not? But I'm not going to sit here and be like, I will be a billionaire one day. I'm like, nah, man. The ability to be a billionaire exists within me right now. The version of me that I need to be in order to call in billions into my life is here right now. So when I say KCB, it is an identity, it is a way of being. It is a state of gratitude for all that is here and that is on its way to me. And this is an internal conversation with myself. So I'm not sitting here telling you guys right now I have $1 billion in my bank account. That is not truth. The truth of my bank account is not the observation of $1 billion in there right now, right? But in terms of who I see myself as, in terms of the desire state, in terms of my identity, my self-concept of who I'm being every day, the energy, the vibration that I'm going to show up in, I am going to vibrate as a billionaire today. Yes, I am. I'm going to feel like one today. Yes, I am. Haven't you ever heard, I feel like $1 million? How are you doing today? Oh, I'm great. I feel like $1 million. What are we saying? We feel like dollar bills? $1 million bills? No, we're saying we feel like the vibrational alignment, the feeling that it would be to have $1 million, right? That's what we're saying. So for me, I'm just going to vibrate like someone with $1 billion would vibrate. Desire then is not a bad thing. I want every single one of you to drop the belief that desiring more for your life is bad or wrong. I want you to drop the guilt. I want you to drop the shame. Anything that tells you that you shouldn't want more, you shouldn't ask for more. According to who? Where did that come from? When were we supposed to just be okay with what we have? Right? Grateful, never satisfied. Beautiful. So what I want each and every one of you to do then is to allow yourselves to desire more. Let yourself want it. I remember when I first launched my business, before this business, when I launched my network marketing business, I started going live online and I started an online brand and I started showing up and being visible. And one of the things that really was this feeling of is like, oh, what are people going to think of me when I boldly and daringly stand up here on Zoom and be like, I'm going for it. I'm going after my goals. I'm going after my dreams. I'm going to do it. Here we are. I'm here. And I remember one day I went live. I wonder if I can find this live. Man, it was from years ago. It would have been like 2018, maybe the tail end of 2018. And I titled it, I'm a driven woman and proud. I'm a driven woman and proud. And so now I'll say I'm the most driven woman you've ever met. Why do I say that? Because it's an energy. It's a vibration. It is a feeling. And I want to be proud of it. I don't want to be ashamed of it. I don't want to feel bad about it. I don't want to self-suppress. I want to fully express myself. And guess what? When I sit here and I say that I am a very driven woman and I go after what I want as much as I possibly can and all that kind of stuff, what am I doing for other people that are watching? I'm giving them permission to do it too. I'm creating a safer space for others to be able to do it too. Because if we're all hiding and we're all suppressing and we're all not allowing the truth of who we are to come through, what are we doing? We're not helping anyone. We're not helping each other. We're not making a difference. It is the dreamers that change the world. It is those that dare to dream, to go after their dreams, to make it happen, that are creating some of the biggest manifestations, innovations in this world. And there's somewhere along the line you learned that you couldn't make a difference in this world, that you were just another ant on an anthill. But like, come on. Every single one of us is so incredibly powerful and beautiful and has a passion and a purpose and a vision. And every single one of us has a call to good. And every single one of us can impact the world, can change the world. especially when we come together. And so this is where I want all of you to know that it is okay to want for more. And if you truly understand spirituality, to be highly spiritual, to be a highly spiritual person is to be connected to spirit, is to allow spirit into your life, to allow the truth of who you are to come through. And spirit wants you to be abundant and prosperous. That source energy, the source of it all, it wants you to have more. So I actually believe that to be highly spiritual is to be highly abundant and to allow all of it to come to you, all the abundance in this world. I used to believe I was shy. I used to believe that I was very sensitive and it was a bad and wrong thing. I shouldn't be so sensitive. And I used to get my feelings hurt very, very easily. And I always wanted to be somebody else. I wish I could be pretty like her. I wish I could be confident like her. I wish I could be sexy like that. I wish I could be bold and daring like that. And I just believed that I was the way that I was. Well, that's just how I am. And then I got into this work and I went, oh, I don't actually have to believe that about myself. I don't actually have to think I'm shy. I don't have to actually think I'm oversensitive and that it's a bad thing. I can think it's a good thing. I don't actually have to like shy away or get my feelings hurt. That I actually get to choose who I am. And so I no longer believe those things about myself because I chose to believe new beliefs about myself. Let the weak man say, I am strong. But you have to realize that you think you're weak and then decide to say, no, I'm going to be strong. So many of us are unaware. We're not looking in the mirror. We're not willing to face it. So that's why I said to Elizabeth, how beautiful that she identified it. She said it out loud because now you can change it. But most people, they won't even look at it. They won't even look at themselves. It is in the vulnerability to look in the mirror and see what you really think about you that changes everything for you, right? Changes everything for you. How do you overcome this habitual thinking of not feeling worthy? Understand that that feeling of being less than, inferiority, not being worthy, not being good enough is learned behavior. I really, really want to talk about this third piece that is so incredibly important. It is like, if you don't do anything else, please do this to bring your vision into your physical reality. This is one of the most pivotal, important, and necessary tools. It is the number one tool that I own in my business. And I say I own it because it's mine, is my imagination. The ability to see what isn't yet in the physical 3D reality is how you actually start the manifestation process, okay? We cannot deny, you cannot prove me wrong, that everything started as a thought, that everything didn't start as an idea in someone's imagination. Everything was imagined before it was observed. So in order for us to begin the manifestation process, we must first think of it. We must first conceive it in thought form. Imagination then. I used to believe it was a higher intellectual faculty. I thought it was just a function of the brain. The function of the mind, right? That's all I thought it was. So I'm like, okay, my mind has an imagination that I can use to just like dream up things or to think of ideas. But there was this immense amount of power that came through me and understanding that came through me when I started to realize what my imagination really was. And when I started to realize that my imagination is a creative source, it's a creative energy, it's a hub, it's the beginning of all things. When I actually started to realize that the imagination was a tool that we have been given by our source and our creator. It's a creative mechanism, it's a creative tool. God, source, energy, spirit said, let's give them this. Because if I give them the ability to imagine things that they cannot observe, they will make their lives better. They will make their lives easier. They will ascend, they will innovate, they will grow. They won't just exist, they will flourish, they will thrive. So the imagination then is this powerful connection. It is a powerful tool to source. So what I send up into my imagination, into the fourth dimension, God sees, feels, hears, acts upon. So I'm actually guiding and directing source energy through what I'm imagining. So the most important thing that I want every single one of you to understand and to realize is that your ability to think from somewhere else than what you observe is what creates the manifestation process. So when you put something onto your vision board, It's important for you then to imagine what it's like to be in that house, to imagine what it's like to sit in that hot tub and relax on a cold winter's night, to sit in the car seat, the driver's seat of that car, and to feel the engine rev and for it to go super fast. To imagine something first is what then calls it in and brings it into the physical form. It will also build your desire. So if you find yourself where you're avoiding it, you don't want to visualize it, you don't want to dream about it, you don't want to see it, why? What's going on there? What's holding you back? So I want you to really, really be able to use this imagination. Imagination is God in action. Some call it imagination, some call it God. My favorite quote, favorite poem. So beautiful. That is what I believe to be true. So then what would it mean if you can visualize something? If you can see it, what does that mean? You can have it, that it's already done, that it's real, that it's true. Source is literally saying, here it is. You're observing it. Don't fall for the belief that in the imagination isn't real. So many of us have taught to look through the eyes of our human and to believe what the eyes of our human see. I don't live from that place anymore. I live through the eyes of my spirit. I live through the eyes of God to observe what I desire first, knowing that my human will then observe it later. So the imagination then is a beautiful portal. It is a beautiful tool. It is a beautiful place for you to go and see what you want already done, already complete, already finished. This life that I live today, you guys, that I am so grateful for, that I love so much. This is the second time I'm living it. I've already lived it once in my imagination, and now I'm living it a second time. And there are things that happen that I didn't imagine and I did not ask for. And it's like, okay, where'd you go wrong? But it's not wrong. It's the contrast. It's a contextual field. It is the context with which I experience this phenomenal, incredible life. So in 2022, I asked for greater health. My word of the year in 2022 was health. And I was given the most substantial health crisis that I've ever been in my life and ended up in hospital having lung surgery. But what it led me to is the woman that I am today. Yesterday, I ran 6.5 kilometers on that treadmill in an hour. I'm an athlete now. I've been telling myself that for like 2 years and now it's showing up. Interesting, right? So this physical body of mine now, the way in which I can move her, the strength, the health, the physical mobility, it's all because I asked for a higher level of health. And yeah, it looked like my health was at its worst for a little bit, but I stayed the course. I stayed the course to where I am now, which is really beautiful, right? So anything that you ask for in your life, you might observe the opposite, the contrast, but I want you to stay the course. I don't believe that the universe tests you. The universe responds to you, okay? So what I mean by that is the universe is not this, it's not a human, it's not a person, it's not a thing that is thinking and deciding and testing and sending out judgments and like wanting you to do things. The universe responds. It's a vibration. So if we think about like quantum physics, actually like attracts like, and the physical 3D space responds to the vibration that you're in. So when I was sending out the energy of I would like greater health, what was the energy I was actually in? I believed I was unhealthy. Like, why would I ask for greater health if I believed I was the healthiest version I could ever be? So I was actually vibrating unhealthy vibes, but I had to move the energy and shift it, right? So the unhealthy vibration called in an unhealthy experience, which gave me the opportunity to manifest the healthy experience. So it's not, I don't believe it's a test. I don't like that word. Nothing is testing us. It's allowing us to prove what we said about ourselves is true. So it was an opportunity for me to prove that, yes, I in fact am now health. It's an opportunity to prove that I am in fact now wealth. It's an opportunity to prove now that I am in fact love. It is an opportunity for me to in fact prove more unconditional love. Imagination is powerful. So then people ask me, well, what do you mean? How do I access my imagination? What do you mean? So there's two ways in which I want you to consider the use of your imagination. When I say that my imagination is my number one business tool, what I'm actually saying is that I'm always thinking from the experience that I want to have in my business, not from the experience that I'm observing. So if I want my business to look a certain way, and I want to experience a certain thing in my business, I'm not going to be reacting to the way in which it's currently observed at. I'm going to think from, feel from, show up from the certainty of where I'd like my business to be. And then I build a story around that. So the one way that you can access your imagination and you can use your imagination for good is to visualize. So the order of visualization is very important. In order to visualize, you want to first be in a relaxed state. So you're not going to be running on the treadmill. You could run on the treadmill and visualize. It would probably work. But I would actually get into a beautiful relaxed state. Relax your mind, relax your body, open your subconscious mind up, and visualize the life that you desire. Visualize the experience that you wish to have and experience it through your own eyes. So you're going to experience it like it is happening, like you're seeing it. So you're not watching yourself on stage as an audience member. You're on stage with a mic in your hand looking at the audience. See the difference? You can literally visualize and imagine from literally anything, anywhere. You can access your imagination all the time. But if you're new to this, and you aren't currently using your imagination or visualizing, I would follow the order of manifestation. This is Genevieve Behrend from Your Invisible Power. Very, very phenomenal book. And she really, really talks about the importance of a relaxed state. The importance of the relaxed state also is important in hypnosis. So if we want to use hypnosis to reprogram the subconscious mind, then you want to be in the theta brainwaves. So that's one way that you can access your imagination. The most important thing, though, in the visualization is to feel the feeling of having whatever it is that you want to have, right? So if it's moving into your dream home, visualize the feeling of moving into your dream home. And what is it like? What is the gratitude? What is the sense of pride and accomplishment that you have? What's the feeling? It could even be just a little like, yes, that's the feeling. So it's not just, oh, I got my G-Wagon today. It's, oh, I got my G-Wagon today. And when I turned that on, it revved so loud and I felt so proud driving that. Put my kids in the back. They loved it. They were so excited. That's the difference. That's accessing a visualize. That's the order of visualization. But the other piece is, and this is so incredibly important, is the ability to live from the imagination all the time. It doesn't have to be sitting down in a moment, going in there and visualizing. You can actually be the imagined state all the time. So you could be sitting here right now looking out your window and seeing snow, but you decide instead to see the ocean. It's all about like love, joy, fun, allowing yourself to experience the imagined state. But the other piece is you can do everything from the imagination. You don't have to just visualize. To live from an imagined state then is to bring the idea in the imagination into the physical 3D world. Brainstorming is imagination. You can have conversations that come from the imagination. Chris and I had a phone call the other night. It was so beautiful. We used to do this when we lived together, but I called him and I said, okay, do you want to get on the phone and talk about what we would love? Let's plan out what we're going to do with our 1.5 billion. And we got on the phone and we just talked about what houses do we want? What charities do we want to create? What charities do we want to give to? What businesses do we want to have? What ways in which do we want to travel? How do we want to set up our daughters' trust funds? And what do we want to do for them? So we weren't sitting in a visualization, but we were accessing the imagination the entire time, having conversations from the imagined state. Listen, I go after it. If I want something, I am like, we're going to make it happen. But I taught myself to be this way. I wasn't like that before. Got to be bold. You got to be daring. You got to be courageous. You got to go for it. All right. A little bit more about the imagination I want to talk about too. Chat GPT is beautiful, but Chat GPT can help you to give you more words and language and feeling towards your visualization. But I want you to remember that your own imagination is your direct connection to source. So if you're going to Chat GPT and not into your imagination, you're not connecting to the source of it all. You're not connecting to the truth of who you are. You're not talking directly to God necessarily through Chat GPT if you're going to technology to do it. I want you to trust your intuition. I want you to trust your guidance. So when I'm looking at identity work, right, and I sit down and I say, okay, KCB, who is she? How does she think? How does she feel? How does she show up? All of that information, it's here. It's here. It's in me. It's already done. It's already complete. It's already existed. It's already happening on a different timeline. So the answer is here. So I want you to connect into yourself. I want you to connect into the truth of who you are. I want you to feel you, to know you, to recognize you, to understand you, to remember you deep within you. And then go into ChatGPT and get more inspo. But don't just go to ChatGPT and not be connecting with you. I want you to really, really connect in with you.